Interstate 465. Yeah. All right, we are heading for Interstate 465, Indianapolis's real speedway. We're looping around Indianapolis as the Chiefs will be taking on the Colts. 465 definitely leads the league in US highway concurrency. We'll get into it. All right, let's take a look at the route. Interstate 465, as promised, does a circle around the city of Indianapolis. It used to have a stray stub coming off it, but that's 865 now. We're going to be starting today with the inner loop of 465. We're starting out here on northbound I-65, signed north for Indianapolis, where we are meeting 465 at the beginning of its numbered portion of the loop. So we see west 465, 74 Peoria, and 69 south thrown in there now too, east 465 and 74, and north 69 for Fort Wayne, although we will be looking at that part later. Once we get off at the exit, we see we have our choice for east and west 465 and 74, and north and south 69, and we are going to be signed for Peoria and Evansville, which, as you probably know, would be 69 and 74's control cities. This is also US 40, US 36, and US 31, although they don't bother to sign that here. You're watching Control City Freak. This is the YouTube channel where we talk about highways and the places that they're signed to go to. If you dig this kind of content, why not give us a like? And if you really like it, why not subscribe? Yeah, subscribe. Our very first exit is going to be for Northeast Street, exit 2A, and we know by the fact that this is our first exit that we are on a mileage-based system, not an ordinal-based system, so that's good. We're also going to be meeting southbound US 31, which is also East Street. No control cities given there. I'm going to show you the map of the US 31 interchange because this was requested by Roadrunner because his firm designed this interchange configuration, the displaced left, which is the first of its kind in Indiana. He also worked on it, so that's awesome. It's awesome to have actual real road people commenting on this channel, and I really appreciate that. And thank you for that request. Roadrunner requested that with a super like or super thanks, which anybody can do, $5 or more if you'd like for requests. You can check the post section of the channel or the video description of the newest video to see what is available right now. I'm not sure what'll be available when this road comes out. We've also got a Patreon going, and anybody who has a paid membership from the Patreon can also make exit requests, and we got quite a few on this road, and I appreciate everybody who does that. We also list any upcoming roads on the Patreon first before anywhere else as well. So if you're interested in seeing what's coming down the road, that's the best way to do it. Next exit after US 31 is Harding Street, and US 31 has left us now. Next up, we've got I-69 South, and this is a new interchange. This was requested by Gabe Garret because he lives in Indy, and this was recently completed. Thank you for that request. And we see 69 is signed south for Evansville here, which makes sense. 465, 74 are getting Peoria, which, Peoria is kind of the least of the roads that 465 connects with control cities, kind of the least important one, but we're going with that because we are co-signed with 74. Our next exit is Man Road, and we're getting just a big, wide sign for 465 and 74 West. We're meeting South Indiana 67 for Kentucky Avenue, and we were concurrent with that as well, but I can't keep track of all the state routes that are on here as well. I don't know the Indiana state routes too well. I'm only looking at which US highways we're concurrent with, which right now are 40 and 36. We're going to be meeting I-70 soon, and I-70 is signed for St. Louis and Indianapolis, 465 North and 74 West Peoria straight ahead. Interesting that there's no sign for the airport here. Our next exit after that is the Sam Jones Expressway, which also kind of goes to the airport. Maybe 70 is the better way to the airport. No airport signage on either one. We're meeting US 40 and losing US 40. 40 signed west for Washington Street. I do think they ought to put a control city on US 40 westbound. Eastbound, yeah, just Indianapolis or just Washington Street into town. Same deal for US 36. I feel like there ought to be something listed here other than Rockville Road. Rockville Road would be the city street going inside the loop. What's our control city outside the loop? Exit 14, we're meeting 10th Street. We will be splitting with I-74 soon. Before we split with I-74, we are meeting US 136. I did a video on 136. Check that out right over there. 136 is signed west for nothing. Crawfordsville Road is the inbound way, and really they ought to put Indy Motor Speedway up there too. Here is where I-74 leaves us, as US 40 and US 36 and 31 have left us, and 69 and 74. 465 is going to be on its own from this point. And 74 West Peoria, Peoria is the bigger city in Illinois and was bigger before, and it's further away. But maybe sign Champaign here because you meet I-57 and it's about 2/3 as big as Peoria with the metro area combined. Maybe they don't want to sign Champaign because they don't want to give any credence to U of I over there. Our next two exits are going to be 38th Street and 56th Street, and 65 is coming up soon. I-65 is signed north for Chicago, and I think we should have been signed north for Chicago up until this merge. 465 now signed north for nothing because we're not concurrent with anything. We ought to get something here. Our next exits heading north are 86th Street, 71st Street, and 73rd Street. We're meeting 865 now, 865 west to 65 north Chicago. 465 east continues this way. I don't know why we really even have an exit with 865. It seems like Chicago traffic would have gotten off at the I-65 exit. I suppose 71st Street traffic could be using it. And this was requested by the Next 19 because this used to be a three-way junction with roads sharing the same number. And what's now 865 used to be unsigned 465. Coming from 465, it was to I-65 north. From I-65, it was to I-465 east. Still no control cities now or then, but now we do get Chicago. Thank you for that request. And yeah, I don't actually mind it having been 465, it intersecting itself. It did make a little bit of sense there. You just sign 265 north or don't have an interchange for it in this direction at all. Next up, we're meeting US 421 North Michigan Road. This was requested by Roadrunner because he used to live north of here along US 421 in Zionsville. So thank you for that request. 421 South is joining us. We are no longer independent. Next up, we are meeting US 31 and Meridian Street. 31 North being signed for Westfield and Kokomo, and this was requested by Northwest Indiana Elevators because he always gets annoyed when he sees Westville being signed instead of South Bend. Westfield is less than 10 miles north of I-465, and it's a suburb of Indy. I'm with you on that. US 31 is basically a freeway north of 465 all the way through the rest of the state of Indiana. So I do think it should be signed as South Bend here as well. It's definitely the fastest way to South Bend. So far as Indiana goes, South Bend's a reasonably major city. And thank you for that request. We're in the fairly substantial suburb of Carmel. It is not signed anywhere unless they have a Carmel next exit sort of sign that I didn't notice, but it's not signed anywhere overhead. We're getting an exit for Keystone Avenue. Next up, we are meeting Allisonville Road. This was requested by GordoFabulous. Great name. That is because in Indy, there are more than two truths in life: death, taxes, and a chance of rain on race day, and a wreck at 465 in Allisonville during rush hour. Thank you for that request. We're going to be meeting I-69 soon, and we're getting Anderson and Muncie exit 37B, and I think that's good signage there because those are fairly substantial mid-sized towns, perfect for a secondary control on 69. Before getting to 69, we're meeting Binford Boulevard, and we see we've got construction on the I-69 interchange. After meeting I-69, we are heading south now, and now we're meeting Shadeland Avenue and 56th Street. And we get a lot of signs for Shadeland Avenue. We'll talk more about that later. We're getting a pull-through south 465 and 69 for Evansville. So again, of the places that 465 is going to connect with road-wise, Evansville is probably the least important one, but it's the one that 69 goes to, so that's what we're getting on the overhead. This is in Lawrence, Indiana, by the way. A fine name for a city. We're now meeting US 36 East and Indiana 67 North. And both of those are going to be joining us as well. Here's our exit for I-70. We're getting 70 West Indianapolis, 70 East Dayton, and 465 with the 69 slapped on it south. And Shadeland Avenue, once again. We're meeting US 40 East. We're getting the same Washington Street thing, same no control city for leaving the loop, which I disagree with. This is requested by Roadrunner because he bowled in leagues at All-Star Bowl on Shadeland Avenue near this interchange, near 40, before he left for the DMV, DC region, I assume. Thank you for that request. US 52 joined us with 865. I forgot to mention that. That's easy to miss because they don't tell us. So we've been on US 52 since 865, and US 52 East is going to be leaving us now. Right here, we are on 31, 36, 40, 52, 421, 69, and 465. 465, plus some state highways. So that's pretty impressive here. We're going to be meeting I-74 in just a minute, but we lose US 52 before I-74 joins in, so we don't quite get every road all mixed in there. And right here, 421 will leave us and I-74 will join us. So 74 replaces 52, but we're down 421, so we don't quite get as many roads. Next up, we're meeting Emerson Avenue, and we are going to be back at I-65 shortly at exit 53A and B. So interesting they sign at exit 53 instead of exit 0 or exit 1. We get this reassurance shield of West 465, 74 and South 69. That's pretty cool. And we are going to be meeting I-65 in just a minute. We've gone around the inner loop. Let's turn around and go around the outer loop and count down exits. From 65's perspective, going south this time, south Louisville, we are getting the same sort of signs, and we see we're going to be going 465, 74 east, 69 north for Cincinnati and Fort Wayne. So this time we are getting the control cities for eastbound 74 and northbound 69. We're jumping over to our first interstate junction, and 74 is leaving us, 421 is joining us. So 74 east Cincinnati right here, Southeastern Avenue for 421. This is what it looks like when westbound I-74 approaches 465. Green Bean wanted to see this because this is new signage where we have north 465 and 69 for Fort Wayne, south 465 and 69 for Evansville, and west 74 Peoria, with all three control cities on there listed. Thank you for that request. Right here is the birthplace of northbound Shadeland Avenue. It is getting a big 2-lane exit only right here. This was requested by Boss King Inc. because he says Shadeland is a unique combo of a surface road and a freeway. And it's an important road in the Indianapolis area. And I looked at it, and it is pretty weird. The southern 1/3 of it or so is basically just a freeway, and then the northern 2/3 is a traditional stroad. So Shadeland Avenue, could we call it a froad? Maybe the world's only froad? Thank you for that request. We are approaching I-70, but US 40 first is going to leave us. Right now, we are 69, 31, 36, 40, 52, and 421, but 40 will be gone shortly. Here is our interchange with I-70. Again, West Indianapolis, East Dayton. I know it used to be East Columbus at some point. I tried to find a sign where they had that. Still not sure how I feel about that. Dayton is pretty big. We're right on the cusp of it at I-75, but also Columbus is enormous, and we go right through downtown, so kind of iffy of which one to pick. Meeting Shadeland Avenue and 56th Street once again soon, but first, US 36 will leave us on Pendleton Pike. I-69 will be leaving us shortly, headed for Fort Wayne, Allisonville Road coming up, and lots of construction around here. US 31 will leave us. We get the same signage this time, Westfield and Kokomo. US 31 leaves at exit 31, so that's pretty awesome. Exit 25, we are meeting 865, so 865 west, 265 north Chicago. 465 south to I-65 south goes straight ahead, because you can't get to 65 south from 865. You can't get to 65 north from 465, so this is a useful interchange. This was requested by Boss King Inc. because 865 isn't really an interstate, has no exits, it's just a very long exit ramp, and he's always had an issue with it, but he does think it's better than it used to be when it used to be I-465, and they renumbered it in 2002 to avoid confusion. I could go either way there. What does annoy me here, what I don't like, what I don't get down with at all, this is also where US 52 exits 465, and we get no signage for US 52 leaving. So that's very on brand for US 52. You can check out a US 52 video right there. It leaves, but we get nothing. Looking at I-65 southbound, where 52 is concurrent with it, this is where 65 southbound meets 865. We see the US 52 shield is on there. That's as close as I could get because Street View is really wonky here, and if you scroll forward one more screen, this whole sign goes away because of construction. US 52 is mentioned for 865 coming on I-65, and that is US 52 eastbound. I did a US 52 eastbound video you can check out right over there. But if we look at 865 eastbound, where it connects with 465, US 52 goes away once again. So we get 465 south and 465 east. No mention of US 52, which they just told us is on 865. So if you're traffic following 52, it just disappears. Get tired of all the 52 erasure. It's a great road. We continue on 465 South, and we're meeting 65 South for Indianapolis. And as I said, no exit for northbound 65 from here, which makes sense. Next up, we are meeting 74 West for Peoria, and 74 is going to be joining us. 136 West is out of the same exit as well. Andrew DeVore wanted a look at the overpass looking down 136 going westbound, because the Lucas Oil Speedway is off that road, and this is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway exit as well. Thank you for that request. US 36 West exits here. US 36 East is going to be joining us, and we see 40 West will be joining us shortly as well. 465, 74, and US 40 all meet right here. This was requested by Roadrunner because he used to bowl in leagues at Western Bowl just west of this interchange, and his firm also designed this interchange along with the remainder of 465 from I-70 to 65 on the west side in the late 2000s as part of the Accelerate 465 project, though that preceded his time in working. Thank you for that request, and that's awesome that your firm did all that. And I did a video on US 40. You can check that out right over there. We're meeting I-70 here, and we get East Indianapolis and West St. Louis and Indianapolis International Airport. So we get an airport sign going this way. Why no airport sign going northbound? This is coming from I-70, and we're getting 465 North and 74 West Peoria, 465 South and 74 East Cincinnati. I feel like it shouldn't just be I-74's control cities, even though I-74 goes here. 465 North should be Chicago. It should always be Chicago. Chicago, way more important than Peoria. Come on. And here is our new interchange with I-69, and this was requested by Roadrunner because he was on the design team that helped deliver this interchange and the portion of I-69 that connects to it, and the improvements along I-465 in this area as a part of the I-69 finish line project. And he also appreciates the rare interstate triplex concurrency along with the multiple US routes that are here as well. Thank you for that request. Coming from the 69 North perspective, I had to show this too. 465 and 74 West Peoria, 465, 74 East Cincinnati, 69 North Fort Wayne. That's all put together there too. And again, I know 74 is the one going to Peoria, but 465 has bigger fish to fry. I would sign Chicago. US 31 South exits here, and northbound 31 is joining us. We're going to be meeting I-65 again in 2 miles. And here is our interchange with I-65, once again, 65 North Indianapolis and South Louisville. And let's get over to that I-65 overpass just to finish the entire circle with 65 North Indianapolis. All right, let's take a look at Todd's the way it should be for Interstate 465. I'm going to say on the inner loop, starting from I-65, it should be Peoria Evansville, but you could change that to Chicago Evansville, honestly. Chicago Peoria, then just Chicago after I-74 leaves. Then I would sign it just for South Bend after I-65, then for Fort Wayne after US 31 until we get to I-69, Evansville Dayton, Evansville Cincinnati, and finally Evansville Peoria, because 69 is concurrent with us there, so we throw that Evansville on there. Outer loop, Cincinnati Fort Wayne like they do, just Fort Wayne after I-74 leaves us, then Chicago after I-69 leaves, and then after 865, Airport and St. Louis because of the I-70 way, and because that's kind of the way we're curving. After I-70, Cincinnati and Evansville, and Cincinnati and Fort Wayne. All right. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Control City Freak. This is a fun one. Lots of US highway concurrencies. Pretty cool on 465 there. A lot of stuff to keep track of. I hope I was able to unthread that a little bit for you. And I hope the Chiefs are able to do all right against the Colts. And we have got a Thanksgiving matchup down in Dallas next week. There will be a 287 conclusion video for that. Until next time, my name is Todd, and keep on trucking.